guys, it's Maddie. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, then welcome. Today I will be doing Tag Tuesday. So for this week's Tag Tuesday, I will be doing the Quintessential Summer book tag. This is a book tag that was just made a few weeks ago, and I came across it while I was searching up summer book tags, and I saw this one, saw that it was new, so I thought like this would be the perfect time to do this tag. I will link the creator of this tag down below. I'm like biting myself in the butt that I did not write down her name, but it will be in the description box below if you want to check it out, along with the questions to this tag if you want to do it for yourself. So this tag is just like it sounds. You answer questions that have to do with summer. We are in the summer season, unfortunately, because this is my least favorite season. I hate summer, I hate the heat. Mentioned that so many times before, but I'm gonna do a tag about summer anyway. So let's just get right into the questions. First one is Iced Drink, a refreshing book. For that, I picked Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. This book was refreshing because it deals with such an important topic that is gun violence. And that was a topic that I had never read about before, so that's why I found it so refreshing to read about something new. Another reason why I found this book so refreshing is because that this is the first book written in verse that I have ever read. And I didn't think I would like this book because it was written in a format that I wasn't familiar with, so I was very nervous to start it, but I was pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed this book, and for that reason I really want to read more poetry collections and books written in verse, because I found I really liked the style that this was written in. So it was for sure a very refreshing book for both of those reasons. Next is Cotton Candy, a book that was fluffy and sweet. I could think of no other perfect book than P.S. I Like You by Casey West. This author is known for her very fluffy contemporaries. I've only read one book by her, that is this book, and it was definitely super fluffy, so cute. It is a book about a girl named Lily who is a songwriter. She is bored in chemistry class one day and she ends up writing song lyrics on her desk. But when she gets to class the next day, she sees that the lyrics to the song have already been finished for her, and someone has left a letter there. This starts a series of events where these two characters from different chemistry classes start writing to each other, but neither of them know who they are, and Lily falls in love with this person through the letter. So it is kind of a pen pal situation. It is super cute. The romance is so swoon-worthy. I really felt for it. I would highly recommend it if you are into fluffy contemporary books. Next is Sunglasses, a dark book. I've read a handful of like really dark books, but this one really stood out to me, and that is Choker by Elizabeth Woods. This is a book I read 2 years ago, and it has still stuck with me to this day because it has a plot twist that just blew my mind. And I can't even say the reason why this book is dark because it's a spoiler, but I'm just gonna say if you pick up this book, expect the unexpected because it's not what it seems, but it's so good. Next is Picnic on a Rainy Day. Doesn't it not rain in summer though? I mean, in some places I guess it could. It definitely doesn't in California though, I'm gonna tell you that. And for that, you have to pick a sad book. One sad book that I'm going to mention is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. If you have read the book, you know why it's sad, but the ending is sad. It's been a long time since I read this book, and I still think about the ending and how heartbreaking it is, and I hate it, but the ending was inevitable. So it is definitely like a really sad book. Next is Sand, a book that irritated you. So I'm going with a graphic novel called Through the Woods. This is a horror graphic novel that has horror short stories in it. I say horror because the stories didn't feel scary to me, and that's why I was disappointed, because I went into this graphic novel expecting to be like terrified, but I wasn't. I felt like the ending to each of the stories left off on such an anticlimactic note. They didn't leave an impact on me, and they were just kind of boring. So this book irritated me because I expected it to be scary, and it wasn't. So my expectations weren't met, and that was annoying. Number 6 is Summer Blockbuster, Your favorite book to movie adaptation. Such a hard one. I've seen so many book to movie adaptations. I don't know how to pick a favorite, but I ended up going with The Hunger Games. I was very pleased with how the movies to these books were adapted. I feel like for the most part they really stayed true to the books, which I appreciated, and they were just really well done. I have to say they are probably the best book to movie adaptations I've ever seen. Next is Dropped Ice Cream, a book you were anticipated, but it turned out not to be good. So this has never happened to me besides one time. And that book was Lady Renegades by Rachel Hawkins. This is the last book in the Rebel Belle series. I loved the first 2 books in this series, so I was very much anticipating this book so much. It was like my most anticipated release of the summer of 2016 when it was released. And then I read it and I was really let down. I felt like this book was so rushed. The ending was very unsatisfying for a last book in a series. That's what I hated most about it. It just really let me down, and I was super disappointed because I love the first 2 books in this series, but the last book really just kind of ruined it for me. So I'm still really bitter about that. I just like to think that the last book just doesn't exist. Number 8 is Palm Tree, a tall book that you loved. So my favorite physically tall book, I wish I had it to show so I can show how tall it is, but I'm sure a lot of you know this series, so you know how the books look. That would be A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. The whole series has very tall books that aren't your standard hardback, so they are definitely my favorite tall books because I love these books. I've said that so many times. This is my favorite fantasy series, so I thought they were the perfect choice for this question. Next is Bonfire, a book you want to burn. Just to let you all know, I would never burn a book. I would give it away. I would never burn it. Maybe I'd throw it in the trash, but I wouldn't burn it. That's a little harsh. But for the sake of this question, I will come up with an answer. By burn, I'm thinking that's meaning like your least favorite book of all time that you just don't want to see ever again. That would have to be Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. I voiced my opinion on this book numerous times this year because I read it at the beginning of this year. Did not like it at all. So I would say I'd have to burn this book, but I'd probably just like give it away, give it to a thrift store, but I wouldn't burn it. That is really harsh, even for a book I disliked as much as this one. And the last one is Fireworks, a book that exploded onto the scene. This book isn't as popular anymore, but when I first started BookTube, this was the book that was the talk of BookTube. I saw it in so many videos. That book is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Rigg. I definitely fell into the hype with this book. So I read it and I very much enjoyed it when I read it. So I'm really glad I fell into the hype and ended up reading it because I could definitely tell why a lot of people loved it, and I loved it just as much. So that was the quintessential summer book tag. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below for more bookish related videos. Also be sure to click that bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you're notified when I post new videos. And if you want to hear more from me outside of YouTube, be sure to follow my social media. Those links will be down in the description box below. And I'll be back really soon. Bye!